Welcome back to the Morning Kickoff Show. I'm your host, Matt Witt, and today we are here to do our preseason Week 2 preview for the Minnesota Vikings, who will host the 49ers on Saturday. This will be a Saturday 6 p.m. game, so we're going to have a night game in US Bank Stadium. This is going to be our first time playing in US Bank Stadium in 8 months. Vikings fans, get loud. We get loud in the preseason. We get loud in training camp. We get loud in the regular season. We have one of the best home field advantages in the entire league. And let's show the 49ers this on Saturday. This is going to be a 6 p.m. game in Central Time. And if you're in the Minnesota area, you can watch this game on Fox, NFL Network, wherever you choose. But Fox is where you can watch it in the Minnesota area. Vikings have practiced with the 49ers both Wednesday and Thursday this week. We kind of have this friendship going with the 49ers right now. I've always secretly been a 49ers fan. I'm going to be honest. I always cheer for the team in the postseason. Why? Because they always handle the Packers. They do what we can't. That's always just stopping the Packers from making another Super Bowl run. They did this last year. They did this a few years back. Also, the 49ers, week 1 of the preseason, who did they beat? The Packers. The 49ers always do their job. Now we have Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, who has relationships with the 49ers front office. We have Trey Lance starting for the 49ers, who's also from Minnesota. I mean, come on, guys. Let's if the Vikings aren't in the postseason again, let's assume the 49ers are going to be there. We'll just cheer for the 49ers once again. But Vikings will be in the postseason. What am I even talking about? There was also fights that did break out in practice, but I mean, take that with a grain of salt. These are the most competitive guys in the world. Fights are going to break out. It's not all tension and hatred against our offense and their defense, who were getting into it. At the end of the day, these are just what happens in training camp. So we still do have good relationships with the 49ers, with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah having good relationship with their front office, and there's just a good relationship with the team. Also, seeing Christian Darrisaw being compared to Trent Williams, that my expectations went up after hearing that. So taking a look at the Vikings injuries for this game, it is very unfortunate, but Ty Chandler did roll his ankle on Wednesday and is questionable to play in this upcoming matchup. Now, it is a rolled ankle, so it's nothing serious. He will obviously be healthy by week 1. According to Kevin O'Connell, he's hopeful that he will be healthy for this preseason matchup. Now, Ty Chandler obviously lighting up the Raiders defense last week. We all know this man is already elite as a back. Just excited to watch him play preseason week 2 or week 3 if he doesn't. Not a serious injury, but still sucks to see Chandler get injured, especially with our running backs always getting banged up. Chris Reed also is questionable to play in this matchup. He suffered an elbow injury. He did not practice both Wednesday and Thursday with the team, and this will be a day-to-day decision. Another tough one because, like Ty Chandler, we're all kind of excited to see Chris Reed play, especially at center, hoping he can step up. Dan Chisena is also questionable to play in this matchup. That is a lower leg injury. So none of these injuries are that serious. It's good to know that we don't have massive injuries on some of our core players that we're excited to see play. Also, obviously, don't expect to see Irv Smith Jr. play in this game. Don't expect to see Blake Proehl or Thomas Hennigan or any of these guys play in this game as well. Obviously, not Thomas Hennigan. That guy's on IR. But don't expect to see those players play in this matchup, as they are still suffering with the injuries that they had in the past. So the question is really, who is going to play in this game? Now, like last week, Kevin O'Connell has not, or the team has not mentioned who's going to play in this game and who's not, but we can have a good idea. I mean, it's preseason week 2. Let's not play Dalvin Cook for first of all, because this player suffers too many injuries. I'm assuming that the team is smart enough not to play Cook. A few names to mention. Danielle Hunter suffers with a lot of injuries. Don't want to see him play. Zadarius Smith, Eric Kendricks. I mean, these are players who constantly suffer with injuries, and you just don't want to risk them getting injured in the preseason. Now, who will play in this game, who we are expecting is going to play, is Captain Kirk. Kirk Cousins, by the way. Happy birthday to Kirk Cousins. It is his birthday today. Happy birthday to Kirk, going into year 4 with the Vikings, I think it is. Now, is it year 4 or year 5? I think it's year 4 with the Vikings. Super stoked to watch this player play, going on to his new contract with a head coach who finally believes in him. Now, will Kirk start this game? I don't know. I'm going to be making a prediction that Kevin O'Connell, or Kellen Mond, and not Kevin O'Connell. That would be funny to see him say. He played quarterback in the past. Kellen Mond actually starts this game for the Vikings, and Kirk Cousins does come in and third, fourth series for the team. We'll get to wait and see. Excited to see what Kirk can obviously do under this new offense. A lot of players, we will see a lot of starters on offense in this game. I'm expecting that a lot of you Justin Jefferson well, obviously everyone's a Justin Jefferson fan. All of us Justin Jefferson fans are excited to see him hit the field once again. Adam Thielen, again, we all love at hometown Thielen. We could see some KJ Osborne action in the mix as well. Excited to see a lot of these players come in when it comes to running backs. Just don't play Dalvin Cook, please. For the love of God, do not risk this player getting injured. But I am excited to see what this first team offense can do and how we will really get a glimpse of how this offense can be in 2022-2023 season. If we do get to see all these players from our first team offense, our starters playing this game, we will dominate their defense. Why? Because how do you beat the 49ers? You beat them over the top. So like I mentioned, this wide receiver core is absolutely ridiculous. Not only do we have one of the best 11 personnels in the league when you run Jefferson, Thielen, and Osborne on the field at a time. And then you can throw Amir Smith-Marset or Smith Jr. on the list as well for 4 receivers you can run. Yeah, well, after that, the wide receiver 4, 5, and 6 spots for the Vikings is a tough competition right now. With Amir Smith-Marset being a player who still has to win his roster spot, BC Johnson still has to win his roster spot. These are 2 guys who are easily active roster players in the league, but still have to win their roster spot. Jalen Naylor, being a rookie, obviously has to. Albert Wilson, it looks like he already did, but the competition is still very fierce. Myron Mitchell, a player who's likely not going to make the roster, but will easily make a roster somewhere else in the league. If this doesn't show how good our receivers are, then I don't know what does. And that's where the Vikings, if they want to win this game, they have to revolve their offense around the pass. And I believe there's no question about this, especially looking at who you're playing right now with the 49ers. Whether the 49ers rest their starting defensive line with Eric Armstead and Nick Bosa and who's else there? Javon Kinlaw, and I can't remember who the other starter is, but I know that's 3 of the starters on defensive line because they're all big name players. Whether they rest all these 3 guys or not, they're still going to dominate in the trenches. And this is what we've seen the 49ers do. They load up on offense and defensive line. And yeah, the run game's not going to be open this week like it was last week for the Vikings. So still going to be excited to see what obviously Madison, Nwangu, and Chandler can do if Chandler does play. But still, if you want to win this game, I mean, come on, put the ball into the quarterback's hands. Come on, Kevin O'Connell. I love Kevin O'Connell just having faith in Kellen Mond. I tweeted it out, but seeing Kellen Mond throw incomplete passes and overthrowing all of his guys in the first half, and then Kevin O'Connell still put the ball into his hands into the second hand. Not just the ball into his hands, he put the game into his hands in the second half. And Kellen Mond did perform. He did more than what we were expecting him to do. It just so nice to have a head coach who believes in your quarterback. And this is something you love to see, because if it was Zimmer, he would have took the ball out of the quarterback's hand and just continued to hand it off to the running back. Run, pass, run, punt is what our offense will basically be if it was Mike Zimmer. So it's good to see this new identity of an offense for the Vikings. If the 49ers do play their defensive line, Bosa's going to be going up against Christian Darrisaw. That's going to be rough. Eric Armstead going up against Ezra Cleveland, 2 young guys on our Vikings offense that we are excited to see play. Going to be interesting to watch how our defensive and offensive line can do against their offensive and defensive line. So it really just comes down to beating them over the top, just being as explosive of an offense as you can. I'm also a huge Trey Lance fan. Obviously, being from Minnesota, I will always cheer for Trey Lance. Excited to see what he can do on the 49ers sideline as well. And then realistically, with our previews for the preseason, it's kind of rough because you don't know who's going to play and who's not going to play. But still, regardless of who plays, I mean, just pass the damn ball. It is that easy against the 49ers defense, and that easy when you have as great of a receiving core as we have. For our bold prediction of the week, Lewis Cine will get his first NFL interception. I mentioned many times, Lewis Cine is the player I'm most excited to watch play in the preseason. Last week, Lewis Cine played about the entire game, and you didn't even notice how good of a game that he had. I was rewatching the Vikings game against the Raiders, and I'm like, this man is stopping just about every play. He's stopping down an entire side of the field. And typically, this hit me. It's like, well, with DBs, when you don't notice they're playing the entire game, that's a good thing, because this means that the quarterback is not throwing on their side of the field. And this is exactly what we saw last week against the Raiders. Lewis Cine did have a great rookie debut, simply because the quarterback just wasn't throwing on his side of the field, and that's why you didn't see him making tackles, getting interceptions, forcing incomplete passes. But I am making the prediction this week that he will get his first NFL interception. When he was with Georgia, he was one of the best safeties at jumping routes to get his picks and sometimes pick six. So I'm excited to see what Lewis Cine can do against the 49ers and obviously his entire rookie season, as right now he is expected to be our starter. Final prediction for this game, I believe the Vikings will win this game comfortably 31-26 over the 49ers, and this will be solely because of Kirk Cousins if he does play. Even if Kellen Mond plays, even if Kellen Mond does play, I think that the Vikings still have a good shot. Assuming that we do play both Kellen Mond, Kirk Cousins, and Sean Mannion, give everybody a shot. I mean, it's preseason. Everybody deserves a chance. I think the Vikings have it. Just put the ball into the quarterback's hands. Let them throw over the top on this 49ers defense or on this 49ers secondary, and you should have the game in your hands when your receivers can haul in everything in their catch radius. Super excited to watch this game play. Let me know what players you're most excited to see, what position battles you're excited to watch. We didn't get mostly into position battles because we did in the past, but still, what position battles you're most excited for and how you think this game is going to go. Thank you.